I want to say my childhood was fun. I had a pretty easy, carefree childhood. I grew up with the sense of knowing that I was trans, but not knowing how to express that. For me, learning transsexuals, the experience was, it was fun. It was exciting. You know, here was I got to see women of who I was. You know, I knew that I was born male, but wanted to, I don't know, transform into being a woman, you know. There was times that I'd wake up and I'd pray, like, God, please let me wake up and let me be a girl. I want to have long hair. I want to have breasts. You know, I want to be a woman. And of course, you know, I'd wake up and it wouldn't happen. But, you know, being able to see these trans people on Jerry Springer and kind of sneaking and seeing drag queens, you know, in, you know, different scenes. And then definitely, I guess my breakout movie was Wigstock. And it's all about all the drag queens of New York and seeing all the different types of drags. And so it's like, wow, I know that drag is a stepping stone for me to get there. So what do I have to do, you know? My start in drag started when I was 16. I was in Anaheim, and a friend of ours, we wanted to go to junior prom in drag. And so we we went to this little wig store off of Brookhurst and got these little nappy updos. And I remember shopping at all the little, like, you know, China dresses and stuff like that, trying to find dresses. I remember sneaking in my mom's clothes and like getting her like corsets and undergarments and girdles and stuff like that, and putting all of those on and taking pictures in her clothes. You know, I got to see who my friends were at the time, because once word got out around school that we were going in drag, it was like we got pulled into the principal's office. You know, security was noted, and they were like, no, this isn't going to happen. In fact, if you show up, you won't be allowed into prom. And so it's like, fuck, what do I do? You know, but yeah, it was all a learning experience and a lot of fun. I don't regret anything. I packed my bags for a week stay in San Francisco and literally had the most fun and ended up staying 2 weeks. I lost my cell phone. No, I lost my pager at the time. I had a pager. I stayed in almost every hotel in the Tenderloin that I could think of, met so many cool, crazy people. And then I was like, that's it. I'm moving to San Francisco. And then I moved here, and it just was not the picture of what I thought it was going to be. So when I think back at young Bionka and my favorite song to perform, it would have to be Alternate Found a Cure. Yeah, at the time when I first started doing drag, my drag mother was very alternative. So she taught me that, like, or all the drag queens of the time taught me about, it's about the femininity that you exude. And so we would go around bald-headed with, like, you know, just full on beat and like shaved heads and like cut off Daisy Duke shorts and tank tops. And that was our femininity. So at the time I looked like Alternate. I've been privy to trans people and a wide array of trans people at a young start. I started in trans advocacy work when I was about 21, not really knowing what trans advocacy work was, but I appreciated every bit of it. I got to get information from older trans women and spearheads and women who were leading civil rights movements for the trans community. And they were kind of like all in my back pocket at my dispense to honestly help make me who I am today. And I think if it wasn't for them, you know, I wouldn't be as down to earth as I am. And I guess understanding and have the compassion that I have for the trans community. I moved here and it was a struggle. At the time, I was like kind of like lightweight battling an addiction, but for me, it was as simple as picking up. And so I knew, you know, once the partying wasn't fun anymore, like, why am I using the drug? So I kind of just decided to stop and get my life together. That's when I went into Larkin Street Youth Program, and I did their day labor programs. I did a job readiness course because, you know, I figured if I'm in the right place to at least transition and become the Bionka that I see and know that I am, San Francisco was a place for me to do it. I just had to get rid of all the rest of the distractions. My experience with working with HSF, it was, I don't want to say a shell shock, but it was different. I was an African-American trans woman coming into an establishment that was dominantly Filipino transsexuals. And to be kind of like a star within that, of course, you know, a lot of the girls were combative and wanted to kind of steal my shine because here I am, this black girl who could like perform their ass off and run circles around these girls, but then, you know, they're not doing the same thing. And so I just kind of just let that go. Although it was a good experience because at the time I hadn't really had transsexual girlfriends at the time. So coming into that experience, they gave me a sense of a friendship and kind of family to be around. These were girls that, you know, when you think about it, every New Year's Eve, Christmas holidays, Valentine's Day, we were together inside HSF, you know, so we really were kind of like a close-knit sisterhood and family. And then once our television show came along, you know, the TV show, it was trying, it took a lot of work. It kind of hurt my feelings because when they were trying to pitch the show, I was never in the forefront for it. But then once the network came in, then the network was like, no, we definitely need to have her, which that's what I thought too. It's like, hello, you have your only token black girl at the time, and you don't want her part of the show. Like, that didn't make sense, so. And with that success, I mean, it was great. We got to travel to the GLAAD Awards. I mean, I definitely never will forget, you know, waking up for like 7 o'clock flight calls and having like a Maybach or like a Rolls Royce, black Rolls Royce town car just sitting outside waiting for you, waiting to take you to the airport. Like, who doesn't miss that? COVID has given me a greater sense of self. It's helped me look at myself and realize that there are things that I need to improve on. There are some things I want to change. I got a sense that I want to start my own online business. I planned on doing some embedment. I'm in City College right now, taking a couple classes. I study people with autism and people with schizophrenia. You know, it's kind of helped me dive deeper into my counseling skills and really just look at people on a different level. So for me to be a part of the world's first transgender district, I mean, it's amazing. I think it's life-changing. We are the first in the world to have a transgender district. I don't think I go to any other city and see the trans flags or the trans colors distributed and viewed for people to see the way I see it here in San Francisco. I think before there's always been kind of like a discord from the trans community because we've always felt like, oh, we're always the T left on and there was no community. And when I would go to other cities, I would see more unity from the trans girls. And so I really like this in light of Black Lives Matter, how we've all come together. The future for Bionka, I see myself owning my own online business. I see myself being a brand ambassador, for myself and my line of clothing and you know, undergarments, and possibly, you know, more advocacy for people with mental health and the trans community. I look back at my past and how it was really like rocky and shaky. I had an addiction. I was waiting for you know, a trick to come to give me money in order to buy stuff, and I have that motivation to where I never want to be back to that. I never want to be dependent on someone else for something, and so I think I'm my own greatest motivation because I've strived to do what's next, and now next, what's best for me, you know. And I think that kind of is a force that keeps me going. Not to mention my background in my religion. You know, I always keep God close to my heart. I might not practice every day, but I have my own means of, you know, getting what I need from, you know, my higher power, and that definitely leads me.